basically, my prayer for this has been that the Lord would send the people that need the information so that I would be able to share it with you. And he did. And so, yay! I'm so excited. There's a lot to cover tonight, and I want to be very respectful of your time. So we're getting started a little bit later, and I apologize for that. I'm learning as I go, and I'll allow a few more minutes for registration next time. But if I haven't had a chance to greet you personally, hopefully we can do that during the break or maybe afterwards. But I'm really glad you're here, and I'm really excited to share some of this information tonight. And I've kind of consolidated it here, and I'm going to kind of follow along because I'm one of those paint the picture people, and I want to make sure that I stay on task here. So forgive me if I'm flipping through, but it's for your benefit, so we keep it under an hour. Otherwise, I would sit here and say, pull up a chair and we could talk all night. But we have a little less than an hour, so why don't we just get started? If you guys will pray with me, we'll get going. Oh, Lord, thank you so much for bringing us together tonight. We ask that you would bless our time together as we grow to understand what it means to be good stewards of our bodies. Teach us that this isn't about achieving perfection, Lord, but about making progress and properly nourishing ourselves so that we may continue to do your work. Help us remember that the gift of your Son, Jesus Christ, is the perfect one, especially as we prepare to reflect during the approaching season of Lent. In the coming weeks, as we make changes and adjustments to better manage our temples, may all honor and glory be yours, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. I'm getting over a cold, so I apologize for the sniffles. I can't avoid it, so hopefully it doesn't sound too loud. All right, so a couple of things that I would like to start out with is you heard about this or you saw it. So I would like to know why you guys are here, okay? So I want you to shout out to me, okay, some of your health concerns. And we're going to put them on the board here. Okay, so tell me what brought you here. What's going on?
Sugar addiction.
Kidney stones.
Kidney stones.
Low back pain.
What?
Low back pain.
Low back pain.
Weight control.
Too big a belly.
Too big a belly for your body, right?
Thyroid.
I heard food allergies. Thyroid. That's huge today. Arthritis.
Chronic fatigue.
Inflammation. I'm running out of board, you guys. Anything else?
RA.
RA. I'm going to put that by arthritis. RA. Rheumatoid. Anything else?
Fibromyalgia.
Fibromyalgia. Did I say that one right? All right. Fibromyalgia. Did I get that right? All right. Anybody else want to add any goodies to the list? It's quite a list, though, right? There's a lot of health issues that we have going on out here right now. And these problems, as you're well aware, if you can identify with one or more of these, they didn't show up overnight, right? They've been going on for a while. And in turn, then what that means is when you start making changes in your nutrition, the results are going to take some time, okay? You're not going to, in a week, be cured of your RA, okay? It doesn't take a week. It's going to take a little longer than that. So I'm asking, and what I've been praying for is patience for you all as you begin to make these changes, because it's a long road. It's a long journey to good health, especially when you're starting from a place of ill health. Some of us here may not even have too many serious health problems that we're dealing with. Maybe we just want to improve where we are, and that's excellent. But the majority of people in our society today are struggling with something. So by me giving you guys permission to make some changes, and I give you permission to do that. It doesn't mean that everything's going to be okay from here on out. You're going to have some failures as you make changes, but you're also going to have some successes, and I want you to embrace both of those and learn from them and grow from them so that you can be in a better place than you were. We're always going to be thinking about better than, what is better than what we were doing previously, okay? I want you to leave here tonight equipped with knowing how to discern what proper nutrition is for your own body, okay? This is nutrition for your body, not for your body. The nutrition's going to be the same. You've got different, unique needs, okay, and that's for everybody. So we're not all going to look the same. That's why all these diets out there, they might work for one person, but they don't work for somebody else, right? Each week we're going to dig a little deeper so that you understand why your nutrition is different, okay? I want you to start becoming aware and mindful, okay? And I don't want you to start eating and drinking because I told you to, okay? Or something that I said, be in the grocery store. Well, Cindy told me I need to get this stuff instead of this kind of stuff. This is about you making the connection, okay, of how to nourish your body properly, okay? It comes from mindfulness and being mindful and to watch for those changes and give God the glory for the wonderful work that He is doing in you during the process. It's going to look different for each of us because we're uniquely made. What I'd like to do first is kind of go through some 101 with you. And I'm just going to grab a drink of water right now. I'm a little thirsty. So we're going to talk about nutrition. What is nutrition? It is a science, and it focuses on the interaction between living organisms and their food. Okay, it includes a study of the biological processes of the organism, study of the biological process used in consuming food and utilizing the body's ability to utilize that food and the nutrients, okay? Consuming, utilizing. You've heard the expression, you are what you eat. Actually, it's you are what you digest. Because everything that we are eating, we are not digesting, okay? And some of us probably recognize that at different times, okay? We're going to talk a lot about digestion next week, and it's just an amazing process. The way God has just designed our bodies, it's so overwhelming sometimes that it's all packed in just this 5'2" frame here. So that's nutrition. It is a science. And so what is therapy? Therapy is treating an illness or an injury or disability, okay? And a practitioner is someone who is qualified or registered to practice a particular occupation. So what is a nutritional therapy practitioner? How many have actually heard of that before tonight? Anybody? Okay. All right. It's a relatively new field, I wouldn't say in the last 20 years or so, okay? I'm going to kind of read you the definition from the Nutritional Therapy Association where I obtained my certification. Nutritional therapy practitioner is a paraprofessional certified to do functional evaluations in order to make nutritional recommendations to balance body chemistry and achieve optimal wellness, okay? We can work alongside other medical professionals in both a conventional environment and an alternative or natural medicine environment. We can hang out our own shingles, and open up our own practice, or we can come to our church and share our knowledge with people at church. So you'll see nutritional therapy practitioners in different settings. Why would somebody want to come see an NTP? Well, we kind of talked about a few things right here in some of today's health concerns, but remembering that each one of us is an individual and we have our own unique nutritional needs, that we would look at you as a whole. We like to say that NTPs kind of pick up where your doctor has left off, okay? We know that most internists that people see as your regular doctor only have about one course in nutrition the whole time they're in medical school. So they will partner with some NTPs to send their patients to when they're trying to make some changes or improve their nutrition for them. But what we would look at is your health habits, okay? Your history of the way you ate as a child and your current food habits. We would ask you to keep a food journal for us because that's very revealing on the quality of nutrients that you're getting in your body and how your body is using it, okay, a food journal. There's other additional evaluation tools that we do. I mentioned the functional evaluation. That's actually a hands-on, palpation evaluation that we can do to trigger what organs might be, causing the most problems, or maybe there's a nutritional deficiency somewhere that we can find out based in your liver or your gallbladder or something like that. So there are several foundations that make up the optimum health, and when there's weaknesses in those foundations, then degeneration happens. That's all this stuff that we're talking about right here. Those health problems are epidemic in today's world, but as an NTP, we do not diagnose or treat a disease, okay? What we're gonna do is help you determine if you have a deficiency and what that deficiency might look like, what nutrient will help correct that, and then when you've had enough of it, okay? Excuse me for a minute, I'm just gonna grab a Kleenex here. I'm just running. So not everybody has ill health, right? Some people are athletes and they want to take their nutrition to the next level, okay? Whatever they're doing now may not be working so well and they want to up their game, okay? So that would be somebody else that might come to see an NTP. Or there might be a couple, I do some work with preconception, couples that might be, planning to have a baby and they want to have their bodies be the strongest, healthiest vessels they can be for their future children, and that's really important. Some people will come to you with a recent diagnosis or chronic and recurrent symptoms, things like this that we've talked about. Maybe conventional medicine isn't working for you anymore, or maybe you have adjusted some medications and you've got some side effects that you want to try to combat those through better nutrition, okay? Or maybe you've got a recent diagnosis and you don't want to do the conventional route. Maybe you want to try something with food first, okay? Again, we don't diagnose or treat the disease, but we're going to help you get to the root cause, which is usually in the foundations. And I'm going to address those foundations in a minute, what they are. But I do want to delineate between a nutritional therapy practitioner and a registered dietitian. Are there any RDs here? You guys a registered dietitian? Okay. Those are, they have an education in nutrition and dietetics. It's mainly the conventional route in medicine. They can assess and diagnose and treat illnesses. They work a lot with medical doctors. They'll be referred to dietitians quite often. Now, a nutritionist is more, not necessarily the more alternative or natural side of medicine, but anyone that advises on food can call themselves a nutritionist, especially in the state of Michigan. You can see a doctor without a referral. Then there's also the health and wellness coaches. Have we all heard of a wellness coach or a health coach these days? It's a really, really exploding field right now, as is nutritional therapy. Their certification is in overall health. The difference between those health coaches and an NTP is there's so much more science and underlying information with a nutritional therapy practitioner than there is with a wellness coach. They deal with a lot of the popular diets and they deal with a lot of information on the surface. Their information and their education that they receive is very helpful to so many people that just don't know where to turn. But to see an NTP is going to take it to a different level. It's going to be a little bit deeper. It's going to be very personalized, very individual, okay, for your own nutritional needs. So I just wanted to kind of explain the difference because it's like, you hear all this nutrition stuff and it's like, well, who does what? And, so hopefully that, helps you guys understand it a little bit better. I mentioned that there are weaknesses in the foundation. Okay, weaknesses in the foundation will cause all kinds of things, and these are just as an example. Those pillars, there's 6 pillars, and if you look on the bottom of your agenda, you're going to see that we're going to talk about some of those. It's just a little teaser, for the upcoming weeks, but tonight we're going to talk about a properly prepared, nutrient-dense diet, okay? Properly prepared, nutrient-dense foods. You're going to hear me repeat that through the next 6 weeks, okay, after tonight. We're going to constantly be referring that. That is like the base of your foundation, okay? Then we're going to be talking about digestion, okay? Blood sugar, fatty acid balance, mineral balance, and hydration. Those are the areas that we're going to cover. We're going to be exploring each one of those in the coming weeks, and then the last week we're going to be pulling everything together, okay? Nutritional therapy has been around for about 100 years, And there are some nutritional pioneers that are committed to the concept of something called biochemical individuality. Maybe you guys have heard, that, not really a buzzword, but that we all have our own unique nutritional needs. Okay, so for one person, one man's food is another man's poison. It's very true. But they are committed to the concept that each one is an individual, and that and they refer to this in the training, the innate intelligence that designed us. And I, as a follower of Christ, that would be God, right? God has created us, and He has designed us specifically. Our bodies know what they need if we give them a chance to heal and to listen if we're connected. And we're going to talk about making that connection tonight. But these dentists, these doctors, these nutritional pioneers were dentists, okay, which I find very fascinating. There's four gentlemen, and 3 of them were dentists, and 1 was an MD. And if we have a little bit of time, I'm going to give you their stories. But I think we're going to take a break in a minute or so here, just so you guys can kind of stretch. But I'm going to talk a little bit about, before we get into what nutrients are and what a nutrient-dense, properly prepared diet is, it's important to know where we came from. So we're going to kind of take a look back at the evolution of the modern diet. Okay, so this will be really fun for us, okay, to see where we've been. Let's talk about today's foods, all right? Today's foods, they're fast. They're what? Processed. They are fast, they are processed, they are fake, and they are nuked, right? They are highly contaminated, they are full of steroids and antibiotics and hormones, and the farming methods that are used today have a huge impact on the nutritional content of our produce, all right? And we're going to talk about the agricultural industry in a little bit. There's man-made foods that contain toxins, food additives, things like MSG, artificial sweeteners. Just wait till we get to blood sugar when we talk about all those wonderful things about the artificial sweeteners out there. That's a good subject. But companies spend a fortune to try to get you to buy their product, right? Did anybody see the Super Bowl commercial last night, the Dorito one with the labor, the woman in labor? All right. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. It was wrong on so many levels, right? This Dorito commercial, all right? So the guy, if you didn't see it, the mom-to-be is in labor in the hospital bed, and the husband, or the father-to-be, is standing there with a bag of Doritos, and he's chomping on one, and they're watching the ultrasound, right, and he's moving the Dorito, and the baby's moving inside, right, following the Dorito. All right. I'm not going to break apart the nutritional content of a Dorito because it would take me all of like 2 seconds because there isn't any, okay? But I want to know, okay, here's my lovely, beautiful, green, delicious looking cabbage, right? Where's the marketing plan for this guy, all right? Where is the marketing plan? He is full of fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin A and vitamin K, but also C and folate, okay? Cabbage is fantastic nutritionally, especially when it is fermented, okay? When it is fermented into like a natural kraut, okay, with some sea salt that you kind of let sit on your counter, or you can go buy it too, you don't want to make it yourself, but it is full of natural probiotics, and it is wonderful. So it would be nice to see cabbage on a Super Bowl commercial, but it's probably not going to happen. So anyway, we're talking about this food. How did we get so lost, right? I'm going to address 5 milestones that occurred in this country that will help explain how we got from our original kind of hunter-gatherer state into how we moved from foraging to farming, okay? Thousands of years ago, and we learned to refine things, right? The introduction of sugar, refined sugar, was about 400 years ago. And then we became more mechanical in our agriculture with the Industrial Revolution, which was in the 1800s, and the invention of all things machinery, right? We could do things. We moved away from farming for ourselves to going to these big factory farms, and all this machinery and all this production that was happening things were produced a lot quicker, And then the 1900s, those food giants came, okay? The lovely food giants that created those foods of commerce, which are, let's see, Kraft, Nestle, General Mills, and Kellogg, right? Are just some of the few food giants. And then from there, if you just kind of take that path, look at the fast foods, the processed foods, the low-fat foods, and the all the fad diets, okay? We'll talk a little bit more about those later on. But also, so that's like 4 things. The 5th thing would be World War II. That was a biggie for us because at that time, the beginning of the war, that's when there was a need to create foods that could last longer, okay? It's kind of the invention of shelf life, if you will. Okay, that's where our margarines came from and our canned foods. And so all these foods that were becoming denatured, okay, at that time. When the war was over, though, there were lots of leftover chemicals from the war airplanes, all right? And because of the Industrial Revolution, we had depleted the soil with so much of that industrialization that we needed to protect the farming crops. So there was the development of synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides. Let's spray our crops to protect them. So that, because the soil level was so depleted, when the soil has the mineral content it needs to grow produce properly, no fertilizers and pesticides, herbicides are even needed. But our soil level is so depleted that we have to add these things to keep all those bugs away to grow this produce. It's a kind of a vicious cycle, and it's hurting us. And so what are we left with, right? If our soil is sick, then that means our food is sick, and then that means that we're sick, right? The consequences of those milestones, if you look at some charts that list every decade starting in the 1900s, you're going to see the just dramatic increase of coronary heart disease, the increase of cancer, and the increase of dental caries, okay, which are cavities. And those dentists that are nutritional pioneers, I'll tell their story when we come back. We're just going to take a little 5-minute break right now, so you guys can get up and stretch and kind of regroup. So 5 minutes.
And if you didn't sign in and put your email address on the sheet outside, if you could please do that.
All right.